50 Cent exposes Diddy, and now it's backfiring. And we're not even talking about the stolen footage lawsuit, and we're gonna get into exactly how it's backfiring later in this video. But first, 50 Cent and Netflix partnered together to release an explosive new documentary, Sean Combs' The Reckoning.
In the days leading up to his arrest, never before seen footage,
including private moments,
also features 2 jurors and rapper 50 Cent.
Netflix used footage never authorized for release.
Find somebody that'll work with us that has dealt in the dirtiest of business.
This should show you his character.
We're losing.
There's no one else being vocal.
Now, 50 Cent has had a long-time beef with Diddy, from diss tracks accusing Diddy of being involved in Biggie's murder to each of them promoting viral vodka companies and memes trolling Diddy about the baby oil.
Oh, the baby oil.
But now this has hit a whole new level.
But the question is, was Diddy on trial for something that 50 Cent actually made money off of in his music?
Ooh, that's the question.
Now, the documentary just dropped and we're going to be watching it and giving more updates. But I would argue, and we've been arguing actually for years, that one of 50's biggest songs is actually methodically walking through how to do some of the same things that Diddy just got tried for. And so, as you know how we do it here, we want to hear it from the horse's mouth. So we're going to pull up his Spotify right here. So this is 50's Spotify, and he's got like, what is it? If you scroll up, 43 million monthly listeners.
That's a lot.
And guys, there's multiple songs over 1 billion plays. His number 3 most popular song is this one called P.I.M.P. And so, y'all, we want to take a look and see what 50's been talking about this whole time.
Yeah, so we're actually going to take a look at these lyrics, and this is definitely something where when we look at these lyrics, it's like a catchy song and it's kind of fun. But the context of this song is he's basically talking about how he's a pimp and he's making money. He's not into girls for the romance. He's into girls for like what they can do to him and the money he can make off of them. And so the context here is that he's actually like in a strip club and he's identified a girl that he wants to basically like recruit into prostitution. But when we take a deep dive into these lyrics and don't just listen to like the beat, we can see that this is far more nefarious than we would initially think off the front. So in verse 1, he says, she liked my style, she liked my smile, she liked the way I talk. She's from the country, thinks she likes me because I'm from New York. These are inappropriate lyrics, by the way, for children. I'm not that guy trying to holler because I want some head. I'm that guy trying to holler because I want some bread. Could care less how she performed when she in bed. Hit the track, catch a date, and come pay the kid. Look, baby, this is simple. Can't you see you effing with a P.I.M.P? And so there's a lot of dynamics here. And we can see that there's like almost, he's talking about like an attraction.
There's a draw that, you know, he's describing that she has to him and that he has to her. But what's interesting about this too is that in that attraction, there's already something premeditated.
Yes.
That's like beyond the attraction.
He's got a motive that she is not aware of.
Yeah.
And someone could argue that like, well, you guys are just kind of like taking this and you're conflating like pimping and prostitution with sex trafficking. Like this girl's already like in the strip club. She's already dancing. Like it's not like that big of a deal. And there's no like force or manipulation there. I would say like the like motive underneath is definitely like manipulation. But what's interesting is we actually have a survivor friend who is recruited into sex trafficking by a pimp who came to the club that she was dancing at. And it had a lot of these similar dynamics to it where like she was attracted to him because she thought that he was just like a really good dude and treated her well, not realizing that he had ulterior motives. So let's go ahead and look at verse 2 in here as well. All right, so verse 2, girl, we can pop some champagne and we can have a ball. We could toast to the good life, girl. We could have it all. We could really splurge and tear up the mall. If ever you need someone, I'm the one you should call. I'll be there to pick you up if you should ever fall. If you got problems, I can solve them, big or small. I'm your friend, your father, and confidant. I don't know what you heard about me, but can't get $1 out of me. And then he continues talking about being a pimp. And so this one's very fascinating to me because this is exactly what happened to our friend that we just talked about. She was recruited from the club, and then her pimp, which she didn't realize he was a pimp, she thought he was a boyfriend, started promising her all of these things, right? Like this is not just about money in these lyrics. Like he's saying like, hey, you can confide in me. I can be a father figure to you.
Well, there's a reliance like, hey, if you're in need, I'm going to show up for you. Like, don't call someone else, call me. And yeah, the conflation between like father figure and boyfriend is such a, we've heard that from multiple survivors of pimps like filling both of those roles. And it's such a like, twist and perversion of like what family is and like the different roles of people in their lives.
And this is exactly what the lover boy method is. So people have heard about the Loverboy method primarily through like Andrew Tate saying like, oh, just a nice guy, they accuse you of sex trafficking. No, there's ulterior motives. There's manipulation. It's saying like, hey, I can be a father figure. I can be this person that you can rely on. We can be romantically invested. Oh, but my ulterior motive is to make money off of your body. Like that's where it becomes that fraud in like forced fraud coercion and the definition of sex trafficking. That's where it becomes that coercion because you're learning things about people that you can blackmail them with. And like it gets really, really shady. And so this actually continues. All right. So in verse 3, he says, this ain't a secret. You ain't got to keep it on the low. Choose on me. I'll have you stripping in the street. Put your other hose down. You get your A beat. Now, Nikki, my bottom B, she always come up with my bread. The last guy she was with put stitches in her head. How make a pimp rich. I ain't playing. Catch a date. It's like inappropriate.
Okay, yeah, we're giving you guys the censored version.
Censored version of all this. But that whole like, this isn't a secret, and like, I'm going to like beat you, like last guy like put stitches in her head. Like this is now violent. He went from like, hey, ulterior motive, there's this natural attraction, ulterior motive, then I can be everything you want me to be, like promising things that are too good to be true. And now there's like this violence dynamic in it, which is really crazy. Like
intense force.
Yes.
And that's where in the remix version too, he even talks about.
Well, because like when I first read these lyrics before you get to that, I was like, oh, this is a gorilla pimp. Like if you're educated on trafficking and like you've been like trained in the way that we have for like the last 15 years, there's different types of traffickers and they use different methods to control their victims. The Loverboy method is the one that was described in verse 1 and verse 2. But then you've got the gorilla pimp and they use violence to control their victims. Not all pimps do that. Not all traffickers do that. But the gorilla pimps are known for that. So then in the remix.
Yeah, and so in the remix, he says, I'm a gorilla from Skrilla. I'll trip you. You try to run. I'll let them do as they please as long as they get my cheese. And like he keeps going on. But it's just interesting how
the remix they took verse 3 and literally just said it.
Yeah, and like it was literally talking about being a gorilla pimp in this, and which it's so interesting because we see 50 Cent calling out Diddy for these travesties for everything that he's done, like beating someone in a hotel room, which these lyrics are pretty intense too. Someone getting busted in the head to the point where they need stitches.
Yeah, it kind of is like, does Diddy or does 50 think he's really that much better than Diddy? When he's got a song that's actually promoting the things that like we know Diddy has done, at least in the beatings. So like Cassie, it's crazy.
And we're not saying that 50 Cent is a pimp or that he is trafficking people.
No.
I don't know. Maybe there is something we don't know. Obviously, no one thought that about Diddy, and it was true. But there's an issue that we have when it's being glamorized, especially when we go to so many different schools, talk to so many different students, and they're buying into the hype of this.
Like this song is what, like 20 plus years old? And yet students will still know about it when we talk about it in the classroom. Like if they've heard of 50 Cent, they've heard of this song. And so the question really is, was this just like a one-off money grab with the song, or has 50 been part of normalizing sex trafficking in our culture for literally decades? And we actually want to take a look at an article that addresses some of this about a book that actually describes sex trafficking and the psychological warfare involved in it. And Diddy is, or not Diddy, 50 Cent is actually a part of this. And so The Players Thing, this was published in July 2007, which is really crazy. And it is about a book written by a guy called Pimpin' Ken. And it actually describes the psychological warfare of what it means to recruit someone into sex trafficking. You can kind of see the concepts and the mindset that pimps and traffickers have towards people. He says there are only two categories of people, pimps and hoes. You either give orders or you take them. And so you can just see like the mindset there that's like very, very gross. And it was interesting. Like we've read excerpts of this book over the years, and it's always struck me like how accurate it is to what we've been educating students and families on about trafficking, how it works, how to stay safe for the last 15 years. And so this is definitely rubbing up against that like mindset that we've been talking about. And it shows that how we've been educating is actually how trafficking happens. And so it says this 184-page book, complete with not only a Pimptionary, which is the fact that they like make these like weird like terms is just like
I'm
so
honestly
silly
impressed
to me.
though.
It's cheesy.
More industries should be this creative.
It's so cheesy. There's pictures of 50 Cent and Nelly hanging out with Pimpin' Ken in the book. And the article says it's part of the recent wave in hip hop and rap's culture of obsession with books to make you a better bad guy.
A better bad guy?
That's crazy.
Did Billie Eilish read this?
I don't know.
Is that why her song Bad Guy popped off as much as it did?
Maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Well, and what's interesting here is, so Pimp and Ken, his father was a pimp. And he talks about how his father, in the book, he talks about how his father was a gorilla pimp. So even referencing back to P.I.M.P, like that gorilla pimp, that violent pimp. And he talks about how his father used to use violence to control his girls, but then how he discovered a new way. And the psychological warfare is literally what he calls it in the book. And it's that manipulation. It's pretending to be someone you're not to gain someone's love, trust, and loyalty, and then using it against them as control, which is reflected in 50's song and is described in this book, which is just like, it's honestly gross when you see how people are doing
What
that.
a nice guy that he would move on from being a gorilla pimp to just a lover boy pimp.
Yeah. So great person, right? Better bad guy. But we laughed to not cry. But it continues. It says, these books are serving a real obsession in the hip hop community with power and manipulation. 50 Cent probably said it best out of anybody, get rich or die trying, which is the album that P.I.M.P was actually on.
Dang.
So now we have this article from all the way back in 2007 that's about a book teaching people how to actually sex traffic, with 50 Cent mentioned in the book, has a picture in the book, and he is mentioned in the article, and how it actually promotes the ideas in the book that are actually sex trafficking. Guys, like, this is seriously crazy. Like, does 50 no longer agree with the song anymore? You know, like, he's condemning Diddy for all of this.
Right. With how much he's calling out Diddy. And obviously, Diddy has exploited Cassie.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. And 50's song that we've just gone over describes exactly how one of our friends was recruited into sex trafficking. Yeah. But what we're wondering is all of this getting missed because it's been normalized. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.
Because we often keep thinking of sex trafficking like Taken or Sound of Freedom, but it actually looks more like relationship, like it's reflected in even that song. And this is actually why we created our free Red Flags program for parents and safe adults in kids' lives. Because even though we're actually happy that 50 is calling out Diddy and taking such a strong stand against what he did, it's actually the music and lifestyles they both promote that has culturally groomed this generation of young people and adults to not recognize trafficking for what it actually is.